Hello, Tech Talk Worldwide. Welcome back to another edition. This is our 48th episode of Tech Talk Live. And today's special guest, you can see as Christina Almeida, and she's with Scratch. And so I discovered this Scratch Buzz and Scratch nail art world just recently within this last year, and it's been a game changer for me in the industry. So Christina, thank you so much for being one of the representatives of Scratch to spend some time with us today.
Thank you so much for having me. It's really a pleasure and an honor to be on this. I'm really excited about it.
Yay! So I don't want to get people confused because there's Scratch Magazine, which is also in the nail industry, and then this is the Scratch, which you'll notice the differences is there's a tooth with it. Yeah, so let's kind of get more acquainted with you. What's your story, Christina? How did you get started in the beauty industry?
Oh my God, it's a very interesting story in a way because it's so different from where I come from in a way. I used to work in investment banking, like on Wall Street, and buying and selling companies, and finding money for them and things of that sort. But they were very hardcore kind of things. You know, you're talking about pipelines, banks, beer companies, things that are kind of solid and they produce things and they manufacture shoes and those kinds of cement companies, aircraft companies, these kinds of things. And it couldn't have been a more like distant thing than the beauty industry. And the way I came through it is because I had a change of heart in the way I looked at things in the world. And one good day, I woke up and I thought that technology was driving our world, and I was too far behind it. Mm-hmm. And I think technology is something so important in our lives today, especially digital. We're all going to digital. And here I am, like working these very sort of stodgy kind of things. And I also think that technology is one of those pillars that can change people's lives in a wholesale way. Like, you come up with a vaccine and people, all of a sudden, millions of people are saved. Right? That's technology for me, at least, because it can create a very positive impact in people's lives.
Absolutely.
So I thought, why am I so far from it? This is not exactly the direction I want to take my life right now. So in about 2 months, I basically packed my bags and left Brazil, where I was living amazingly, and moved to San Francisco. That was it. Just to be closer to where these companies are changing the world. Wow. And as something happened in this period, and a friend of mine said, look, I know a company in India, and they need some help figuring out the next steps for their new life, meaning they need to grow, and I need someone who can, help them. And that was Scratch.
That's amazing.
And I had never been in the beauty industry before. I had looked at retail, but you look at like number of stores, how much they sell. I had never been in the beauty industry. I never looked at a magazine except for outside a nail salon. I mean, literally. Or I never had time. I never had time for anything before. So I became, all of a sudden, I get in contact with Scratch. I fly to India and meet the team and learn about Scratch's mission. And I fall in love with this company because I think they have a very amazing mission. Mm-hmm. And that's how I got involved in it, to help them grow from their organic, followers to a more inorganic, to a more accelerated growth, and to change their your perspective into making it even a little larger than just focusing on, just a nail technique or something like that. So that's how I got involved in the beauty industry, which was like a totally different thing for me.
Yeah, big difference. And when you are in banking and all of that, and the marketing that you have to do to get people to want to use your bank and to use you as an officer or whatnot, it's amazing how that does tie into the nail industry, because we as individuals want people to use us, and we have to find a way to promote it. And for people, even though it might be a smaller investment than on the banking side, even a $35 a month investment to get their nails done, they do a lot of research and they go around and try out different places and stuff. So it's always interesting how, even though it's not associated in the beauty industry, it's helped you in the beauty industry as well.
It did, because you begin to think also, how do you get to people?
Yeah.
And I think more than other industries that I've worked on, I think the beauty industry is something that works with the heart and the aspirations more than anything. Because with the money, you can say to people, okay, come to my bank and you put $10 every month. At the end of the year, you're going to have $123. I can explain in the math terms to you, right? To most people, people get it. But in the beauty industry, and this is the amazing and the most fascinating aspect to me, coming from a completely different background, right? Because you guys come from this background, but I didn't. So I had to learn how things kind of processed, and also look at myself. How do I get impacted by the beauty industry in general, right?
Yeah.
So I look at it and said, it is an industry about making you feel good and wonderful about yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And unless you have that vision in everything you do as a say a nail artist, as a designer of clothes, or as a brand like Scratch, like you create that in other people, you will never be able to sell it.
Right. Yeah.
It's all about making you aspire to something. It's
Mm-hmm.
making you think, oh my God, I will look amazing with that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
It's like turning a want into a need. And then it becomes to where they're like, if I don't get my nails done, then people are going to think that something's wrong, because you've created this need and you've promoted yourself that I get my nails done on a regular basis. And yeah, yeah, exactly.
Right. For instance, just to give an idea, when I was working in banking in New York, I would never go into a meeting without getting my nails done. Because then people would say, oh my God, this woman is, she's not very well, she's not doing very well, because her nails are not really
And isn't it funny
okay.
too that our own perception of what we think that others are going to think about us is worse than what other people actually think? You know, they might look at you as a whole, but if you have a nice suit on, your hair is done, your teeth are brushed, your hygiene's good, you're polite, even if your nails are not done, it's okay. However, there is something about us that we feel more complete when we have the lipstick, and then we have the nails, and then maybe we have a bracelet on or something like that. And so it's an entire look, but I think that we're much more judgmental on ourselves than what anybody ever else really is.
I think so, especially, women. We are a lot more. And also, I think we are a lot more visual in many ways. And this
Absolutely.
is another aspect of this industry that really, um, I was just awoken to the notion of something very visual,
Yeah.
right? And to look at colors in different ways or patterns in different ways. And so I think it's a beautiful industry to be in.
It is. And it's very rewarding. Speaking of rewarding, though, because of Scratch and some of the ways that you have nail techs to be able to be recognized on a higher level in the industry, it helps us be able to prove our worth, not only in the industry, but to have, us to show our clients, like, look, my art got chosen by Scratch Weekly and is publicized on a bigger level. And so what was the vision when Scratch got started to be able to start this weekly to monthly to even get in the Scratch crown?
Yeah. what happens is, originally, I wasn't there in the beginning, but I talked to people who were there. The idea about Scratch, I mean, the mission of Scratch was to actually be in the space of nail art, but give recognition. Because one of the things that, when they started, they thought, how can we help these people? What is the best way of helping women who are there, entrepreneurs, making a living, doing something that they love and that they have an amazing talent for? Because if you ask me to draw on this, I won't even be able to do a stick figure in here, right? So you have to have talent to be in this. Let's face it, right? Let's face it. Yeah. This is a very small piece of real estate. I call it. And you guys are geniuses. Mine the same, right?
Yes.
So for you to be able to do that, you have to have tremendous passion, tremendous technique, tremendous drive. And so, and often goes unrecognized or not validated in a way. So one of the things that originally they wanted, and the reason Scratch was created, was actually to promote entrepreneurs that are in this space in any shape they could do. So the first thing they did was to create groups they could like nurture themselves. Like you were in that group and people could post things without fear. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then they could post their art and say, hey, look at what I've done, and then share their art. And then all of a sudden there was this move towards, okay, what about this person as a person? Let's feature the art and the person, because you can't dissociate one from the other.
Right, exactly.
So you are going to be featuring not only the art, but the person. So let's talk about the person. The person, it's amazing, the collection of human beings in this industry. And it is the lives that they have. And that we have to put a spotlight on those people, because you all have tremendous amount of work. Most people have families. They care for their kids. They care for their parents. Sometimes they care for their grandparents. They have households to work. Oh my God, they're always busy. I've talked to maybe a dozen or so to see what their lives were like, so that we could target something, or we could think through your eyes, that we could think through your eyes. So saying, what is out there? What is their lives like? They take care of their families, they're very nurturing, and they're busy. They're busy people. You call up, oh, call me after 10. I had calls where people say, call me after 10. I felt like bad. Here I am watching Netflix and you guys are working. I mean, this is not a good idea, really. But I think that reflects all in the intent to portray people.
Right.
And to showcase them as people and showcase their art. And by doing that, you're recognized as an artist, as a person, because sometimes people, oh, you have great nail art, but you're not recognized as a person. You sort of drop in some kind of black hole here. And our idea was to bring the two of them, showcase people and their art. So that was one of the pillars. And originally we had some education in the platform. Mm-hmm. Very way back when Scratch started, they did a whole course so that they would train people in becoming better entrepreneurs. Because this is part of the mission of like, okay, if I'm going to be helping people, right? Yeah. Become better entrepreneurs, better in their art, and making a living doing what they love, I have to support them somehow. And so training to become better marketeers of their own art, better accountants of their own books, they have to know how much money they're making.
Yeah.
right? Some basic things, know that, if you pay $2 for this and you're only getting $1 for that, you're not going to make it. Mm-hmm. So those things were things that originally Scratch focused on and continues to do so, right?
Yeah. And they just revamped their website. And so one of the advantages to that is that, one, it's very easy, but you have the lookbook, which is the gallery of pictures that people have posted on ScratchBuzz. And then, well, let's talk a little bit. One, how long has Scratch been established?
Scratch is now it's been a year. I've been there. It had been a year and a half. So it's 2 years, 2.5 years to 3 now.
Oh my goodness. And on its group, you're almost at 23,000 Nail Tech members on there. And so one of the advantages of being a part of your group is that, as you said, we spend so much time, endless hours creating this work, but we're only recognized usually from the client sitting in front of us. But another way to get recognized is submit the picture, a cropped, nice picture, into Scratch. And you guys pick a Scratch weekly and then the Scratch monthly. And then it goes to Scratch Crown. How do you pick the pictures and what do you look for?
So what we do, there is, that's basically it. That work is done in India most of the time because they've been looking at this for a while now. Yeah. And then they have a couple of people that they rely on and say, hey, what is this? Also, there is a whole idea of filtering through the technique and how careful that is and how close to the themes. Sometimes there are themes that, you use for that, and how close is that to the theme or not, right?
Yes.
And from there, they just pick, certain people for the crown and for the contests, right? There are judges. We always call in a panel 6 judges, and they give votes, and then it's all added up. And okay, here's their vote. 10 points for so and so. So then that's number 1 or 2 or 3, and that is a way of having people or showcase people's art.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And that was one of the ideas we had, like early on, and it was sort of a loose idea in the beginning. Let's try to do that. And it was done only through Facebook. And eventually we decided to do it a little bit more organized through the website. And actually have people call us up with ideas for contests. Mm-hmm. Let's do, why don't we think about the astrology signs? People post ideas, and then we'll think about how to put it in the website so that people can go and submit their entries. Yeah. So that became a whole thing because I think it showcases and gives an opportunity for people to showcase their art. Yeah. And will continue to be so.
Yeah. And you're given a great platform for us techs to not only have a voice. Oops, sorry, I don't have to not only have a voice, and on your website you did a competition called Scratch Element, and then you had the Scratch Stiletto one just recently about submitting in stiletto pictures and stuff. And so, but on there you get an opportunity to participate or have ideas for the next contest. And so you're giving us nail techs, like, I've always wanted to do a competition of this, and you're giving us a platform and an area so where we can share not only our work, but something bigger. And another thing that you offer on there is the icon section. And we just talked about that. Not only does it spotlight the nail tech's art and the nail tech itself, but it's like an interview process like what we're doing here, but in a written format, and you get to know a lot more in detail about their passion and their vision of what they had. And it's a very nice website. I really like the updated version of this.
I'm glad you like this. We worked very, very hard on it. And again, when you work on a new website, because that's what we did back in actually December, I flew like 3 times to India in since November. Ended up spending Christmas out there, it was a complicated process to work, from San Francisco to India. It's always, complicated to manage people when they're that far, it's 12 and a half hours difference. So the calls are in strange times, But the idea was really to narrow that focus in what are the, what can we do to help? What can we do to show people that these are amazing human beings? And so that everyone can understand what their lives are, what drives them, what makes them wake up in the morning. Because there is always behind every art a human interest story. Mm-hmm. And I think unless you focus on that, you're going to lose the heart piece of it.
Yes, exactly.
Right? Wow. So that connections, as I said, from someone, believe me, coming from selling a port somewhere, right? Like in Mexico, to this industry where it's extremely connected to our hearts, or to our sort of desires. So you have to maintain that line. And in fact, if you ever want to give an idea or a good idea of what you do, and you don't have a passion for what you do, you will never give an idea for what you do. Mm-hmm. So that passion has to be there. So if you want to showcase a person, you have to showcase, even if it's what that person has in the bag. Oh, I have the pictures of my kids.
Yeah.
Or I have, I carry the pictures of my parents.
Yeah.
They're gone. I carry their pictures in my wallet.
Oh, that's special.
So it's one of those things, because then you are able to connect to the person. And this is what about Scratch is about that. It's because we want to connect to the nail artists, to the nail techs on a more or a deeper level than simply showing a YouTube video where you have a lot of techniques. There are 4 million of those people out there.
Right. Yeah.
We don't want to be there. There's too many of them. There are too many. So we want to be more of a connector of souls, in a sense.
Yeah. You can tell when you speak about it, the passion that comes out, and that you guys are digging deeper than more than just the cover, kind of look. And if you ever go onto, whether you go onto their Facebook, their Instagram, or their website for the Scratch Buzz, Scratch Nail Art World, however you want to go to, it doesn't matter if your nails are completely arted out, stilettoed, and all of that. They find real nail techs, like art that we do in the salon every day. These are the people that they recognize. And so you can see with your passion, what the vision of what you're doing, that you guys are actually doing exactly that. I love that when people win the Scratch Weekly and I look at all the pictures, they are real pictures of nails that people can wear every day. And then, there are the over the top fun ones as well, but I mean, a simple French manicure can win. They don't have to be so elaborate.
You don't have to be like in a contest for, Pasadena Tech Show, whatever that is, right?
Yeah.
We have like 10 judges and things. No, the judges are people who actually wear them. Well, not my case. I'll tell you the funny story in a second. But there were people who actually wear them, that judge these things. And that was one of the features that we've implemented, was the popular choice. Because we had a choice, like judges. Judges will one thing. They will look at you like, oh my God, this little thing is off, a little bit smudged. I mean, they look at 1,000 things. They have different eyes than I do, right? But then there are people who come into the site and look at it and say, "Boo, this is really beautiful." You would not believe, but in Asia, a lot of guys look at the site.
Huh. Yeah.
Yes. Because in certain Asian societies, they love the little drawings in the hands. It's part of their society. So they look at this and they vote. They actually vote in the contests.
That's
so
awesome.
We get about 20% of guys voting in these contests sometimes. Isn't that funny? Yes.
We need that diversity of that.
Right. But again, and so by bringing popular vote, we bring people who look at it from the standpoint, do I like it? Does it really bring something to me, or it doesn't?
Mm-hmm.
And it could be a French manicure.
Right.
Right?
Yeah, exactly that. And that's one of the things that, like I said, I really love about what you guys do is that it doesn't seem like that they have to fit into like, well, these aren't long enough or these are misshapen a little bit or whatever. I like that with the pictures that you choose are very real. And then you recognize them for that. And so I as well have printed off my times that I've been the winner of Scratch Weekly. And it's such a great honor. I mean, it's nice to be recognized from the industry for normal nails that you do on a client. You just happen to capture that picture. So I encourage you all to enter. You know that in every time I do a live and I talk about the local competitions that we're doing and stuff, I always talk about Scratch Buzz and tell them, submit your pictures, or I'll put the link in there. Did you enter this into this to this? And they're like, what is this? And so being able to talk with you helped give me a better insight that this is more than the pictures. You're really showcasing the tech as well.
Right. And that's the idea. And that's also the idea of creating like a blog, which we have to, I'm afraid we have to do more with the blog. You know, people have to write more things, and we want to do micro blogs now. It's like, just write 3 phrases, send a picture, and that will be part of the blog. It's just to talk about you guys. What is your life? I was thinking about this, or what does it mean for me to open up a magazine and see something that I can never buy? Or I should write like most of us, right? Or what does it mean? I mean, whatever. It could be about anything. Because also Scratch and part of the new website was to talk about or to expand a little bit the scope, not to be just the nail art techniques and all that, but to be about the person. It's all about the person. So the person is busy. So let's feature something that you wouldn't necessarily spend 5 hours digging for, say, trends. Because if you type the word trends on your browser, you're going to be spending the next 50 years looking at trends, right?
Yes.
So our job is to really make it easy for people who are busy, who are mothers. So when we created, there was like a sort of a part of the website that says trends or check it out or whatever, is to bring 1, new ideas, and 2, things that can make your life easier. Oh, check this. You know, maybe you should think about that. Or we're featuring these things. So to increase sort of the scope and not to just focus on, oh, I'm doing this technique versus that or the other. Because the rest we can feature on the contests, for instance. Or we're going to do very pointy nails now for Halloween, whatever that is, right? Like this and that. Also, we want to feature the uniqueness of this art, because I heard someone, I called a consultant, and she was like a retail person, and she said something so amazing about this. It's like this: you can have this bag, and she pointed to some kind of fancy brand bag, right? Okay. But you can never have these nails. And she had these really amazing nails. Because this is a form of self-expression that you can have, that nobody else is going to have.
Yeah,
that uniqueness has to come in to the site as well.
Mm-hmm. I love that, Christina. Those are magical words, and we all need to hear that what we are creating is so unique. Even though we're mimicking maybe a fabric of their shirt, we're mimicking something that the client brought in off of Pinterest. It's still your own take on it, and it's still your hand painted, very uniqueness. Even if it's stamped, every stamp is going to come out different and be unique.
There you are. There you are. So you can have that bag. You can go like out there and pipe in $1,000 for that bag, and you're gonna get like 10 guys with the same bag in a party. But
Mhm.
not these nails. You're not gonna get, no, especially mine. Believe me. Um, I am ashamed of this, but we're not gonna. This is the funny story. I had one nail tech do these absolutely gorgeous little flowers in my little micro nails.
Yeah.
Really, really beautiful flowers. I couldn't believe that she did these tiny little flowers here because I have my nails are very short because I play the piano, right? So they get beat up. So I said, just don't deal with alcohol, please. So like here I am one day. First of all, the first day, second day after playing the piano, I was like, some flowers, some stuff already gets cracking here. The
Oh,
other day I forget about the alcohol, and all of a sudden I lose my flowers. I'm like sad.
yeah. Yeah.
You get sad if they get, you know, this is
Yeah.
sad. So after that, I said, no, I'm not gonna pay like a lot of money and get him. So
Oh,
no nail art for me for the time being,
well,
but.
darn it. It sounded like you had a very good look to it, but the longevity of it wasn't there. And so that's always,
Oh
you know,
well,
difficult. Yeah.
yeah.
Aw. Well, I would have loved to have seen those nails. Hopefully, she took a picture of the nails and submitted it into Scratch Weekly.
I don't know. I think I posted it because I said, "What can you do?" The question was, "What can you do with very short nails?"
Anything. Like,
Yeah, the people
yeah.
don't think about it because everybody thinks of very long nails, and
Yeah.
it came out really beautifully. I mean, I loved it. Well,
Aw.
they're gone, but we're gonna get more, you know.
So looking back at my notes, one, of course, you guys know that we will put in the comments how to get to the website, and then you to your Facebook page is called Scratch Nail Art World, and this Facebook group is Scratch Buzz Nail Art World. So is there a
Yes.
reason at all for the different names, or is that just differentiating which one was page versus group?
Yeah, yes. The group, in fact, the group was something that we had different groups for different cities, and then over time we've been sort of combined them all into one big group. The
Yeah,
group is for nail art people only. So if you're a nail artist, you post things in there and you discuss things there, and that's a group for you guys.
yeah, and
And
it's
nail, right, that's like it's only memberships, it's like members only. We only admit, those kinds of people. I'm not even allowed to, because I can't do anything. But um, but I'm kind of the boss, so I can actually let a bunch of people in. So that's good. You guys are safe. So the other one, the nail art group, then that's for everyone. So that's an open Facebook group. The other one is the buzz is closed.
yeah.
And
And
that's
that's nice for
yeah,
us nail professionals when we want to get in there and talk about product or we want to talk about the behind the scenes stuff. What's nice is that we can network just like what we do here in TikTok Worldwide. Yeah.
right, because that's a place for networking. That's a place for sharing tips. And then if you want to just, a shoulder to cry, you can also do that there,
Some
right?
days we do need that, don't we?
I think so. I really think so. And that's how kind of it got structured from the beginning.
That's wonderful. Like I said, I must have not realized, but I must have found your group about the time that it came to conception on Facebook. And so it's interesting. I didn't submit to it for a long time because I don't know, kind of watched. And I think that's what a lot of us do is we're like, should we do this? When you put yourself out there on social media for other nail techs to see, you're worried about the comments. Oh gosh, are they going to realize that the shaping of this one's off? Or sometimes it's the angle of our camera distorted the nails a little bit. They're not really that way in person. Or the glitter and the halo effect of it is so prismatic, but the camera didn't pick up on it. And so we worry about what other people are going to say. Are they going to realize that in person it really looks like this? We have to get over that. And one of the things that Scratch has done is you capture and you reward everyday looking nails. And so I encourage you guys so much to get into Scratch. So I know the process of what it takes to get in and get published, but do you want to share that, or do you want me to go ahead and say this is what you need to do? And
Um, yeah, well, the way you share it, you can do it on Facebook. Number one, you can say, okay, here it is. The best way is to, if you want to share, we even we have now in our website on the main page, there is something called Your Art Could Be Here
Mhm,
on the main web page.
mhm.
And you have to go into the site and register, because otherwise we won't know who it is to give credit. So if it's anonymous, it could be, right? But it would kind of defeat the purpose.
Yes. Yes.
So what you guys could do is you go onto the main site, www.scratch, instead of a T is a 2.com,
Mhm.
and in the middle of the page, you have Your Art Could Be Here. And you click on the link below and you register and you submit your pictures. And you submit as many pictures. From what I remember, you can submit up to like 7 or 8 pictures.
Mhm.
And then we'll just feature with your name on it.
Yeah. And it's fun when you get notified that you won this. You were
Right.
chosen. Yeah.
And you were chosen. So you can submit to that and you can submit to any contest. So there is a whole contest page and you want to submit your entry. You just go into the contest, say, I want to participate in this contest.
Mhm.
And you can keep on sending pictures to the contest, after the contest has started and it has not ended. Say like you did one nail this week and the next week you had a better inspiration for the same contest, you can send another picture.
Yeah.
No problem. We program it so that you could submit several pictures for the same contest. So there are many ways of getting featured. The
Mhm.
other way of getting featured is if you say, okay, I want to be interviewed by you guys. So what you do is you send an email. There's a contact, I think it's contact@scratch.com, and
Mhm.
it will get to us, and they say, I would like to be interviewed. And then we'll set up an interview. We'll send you a couple of questions. You're going to send some samples, and you're going to be featured. And I think that's a very important way of you getting to be noticed, or at least that we also know you better.
Mhm. And just so you guys know, a few months ago when I was reading more into Scratch and wanted to know if they would come on Tech Talk Worldwide, not only did I get a response from one person, but I got a response from 3, 2 from India, and then as well as Christina, saying, yes, we would love to support you in your interviewing and what you're doing. So it shows that they want to be a part of our industry and they really do want to recognize us as individuals. And so it was excellent. And so I've gotten to get to know 3 of you guys with Scratch behind the scenes, and amazing. I mean, even what we're talking about with you today, every single person I have talked to has that same deep passion about this. And I love it. I mean, I want to promote you so much because I believe that every nail tech needs to be on your site and understand what it's about.
Thank you. I mean, this really means a lot to us because it's hard to build something, and because the more people understand what's behind it and what is our intention, the better it is for everyone, really. And it's hard to transmit that just by having a site. So thank you for doing this for us.
Thank you
Really.
very much. I appreciate that. Okay, so another thing that we can talk about with that is the hashtags. So on Instagram has definitely been known for hashtags, but obviously Facebook uses them as well. And so when you have the different contests, you have different hashtags to use. And the one for Scratch Weekly is actually hashtag Scratch Weekly, or you can go on to the Facebook page Scratch Buzz Nail Art World and submit your picture in there as well. And so there's lots of ways to be able to enter in the different competitions from the website, from the Facebook group, from the Instagram. And it's very inspirational, just as Christina is inspirational to us today. So it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I think the idea is to make it easy for people to be in places or submit their and just sometimes it's hard for people to get into a computer. Sometimes they just do it online. I mean, Facebook is easier, so let's use, that. And we make a lot of use of hashtags too, because that's how you guys get known throughout the social media. So the hashtags are very important.
Yeah. So is there anything coming up with Scratch that you can share with us? Is there a competition coming up? Is there some additional changes?
Yeah, what we want to do is we keep on, we're always like thinking of new ideas for the competition. So competitions are always there. So it's just like a whim. It's almost like, when people are in editorials on newspapers, they're thinking, what are we all going to write about?
Yeah.
So it's sort of like that. The competitions are a little bit like that. We all kind of brainstorm, say, what is going on? What should we talk about? Vacations, polka dots. I mean, then it's a brainstorming thing. Yeah. Also, if you guys want to submit ideas for competitions, just go ahead. Go into the site, send your ideas.
Yeah.
Right? Because if something is cropping up as a trend, big pink flowers, whatever, it could be anything, really. I think the idea of the competition is to bring your sort of the creativity in every one of the nail artists in, right? And see what goes out there, which is fantastic. I love looking at the stuff.
Absolutely.
Really. It's going like into an art gallery in the museum, really.
That's interesting that you say that because it took us months to be able to have this come to fruition. But on Tech Talk Worldwide, I created a contest, more of a challenge, I think, but it also is a fundraiser. So contest, challenge, fundraiser, kind of thing. And what I wanted them to do is realize that the nail art that we do on nails that we charge $0 or sometimes even $5 for on a canvas would be a lot more valuable. I mean, there are a possibility. I mean, look what sometimes the paint splattered canvases in a gallery can sell for hundreds of dollars, and we're doing that on fingernails, and then a few weeks later we're removing it and doing another canvas, and sometimes we're not just doing one canvas, we are doing 10. And so the challenge is to mimic a nail tip and a canvas, usually in whatever medium that they want to use, just as long as they match. Take a picture of it and submit it into us. And then with that, take the canvas and either sell it online, which I know Courtney Crosby has already said, I'm going to have my canvas for sale. And she already has like people, I think, trying to bid on her canvas, and she hasn't even done it yet. And then, so whoever sells their canvas for the most, and all the canvases, whatever they sell, they get to keep half the money because I want them to be rewarded as well. Maybe reimbursed for some of the supplies or just let them know that you get part of this as well. The other half of it goes to a charity. Whoever raises the most gets to choose what charity that all of us techs worldwide donate to. And then with that, they get a special feature in Nails magazine as well on Tech Talk Worldwide. So it's a multi-level challenge, fundraiser, and all of that. And so it's already been fun. We already have entries coming in. And it's our first time, I think, besides our hashtag, we do a daily certificate recognition for nails as well. But this is the first time that we've used a hashtag in a bigger way like that. And so, oh my gosh, there's already, when I hashtag that, it already has so many posts. It's just unbelievable and very rewarding. And
I think it is a great idea. And because when you look at the kind of work and the intricacy of the work and the precision of it, not to mention the art that goes in it, the thought, the colors, everything, the composition, the lighting, everything, perspective, everything. It's like those little miniature paintings that people used to carry, around 1750 because they didn't have pictures of people. They didn't have iPhones, right? So they were like carrying these little pictures of their loved ones in buttons and, little pocket things, It's like that. It's that level of precision and beauty. It's a gallery, but it's in your hands. Think about it. Because you guys, because you are in the industry, you don't have the same awe that people who are from outside, like me,
Yeah.
have. I mean, I am an art lover. I love the arts. I love visual things and all that. And when I see it and I see the work, and I said, I love painters. I go to art galleries all the time, and I see this in a nail, and I said, this is amazing. These people are all artists. They're
Yes.
not different than a guy doing like a big painting.
Mhm.
In
Yep.
fact, it's even harder.
Yeah, we're doing it on a lot smaller platform. And then sometimes we have to duplicate that piece of art multiple times. And then another person comes in and says, I want what so and so has on their nails. I saw you post this and I want that. And then you have to duplicate it again on another nail shape or a length. And yes, you are right. We are definitely artists in our industry and bigger than just our industry, and galleries like what you mentioned, and what we're going to promote using with the one nail one canvas. It's amazing what we get to do in our jobs, and thank goodness we get this ever changing trends, because it allows us to like have our fuel our fire and our passion again. That if it was always just French manicures and red, how boring would our job be?
Oh,
So
you got to be
like,
like,
yeah, yeah,
I can't deal with the same color every time.
yeah, exactly that.
Yeah, I think that variety it's is just beautiful. And you can change it every 4 days if you could afford it. If you
Yeah,
really like a
exactly.
Hollywood person. That
Well,
would be.
Christina, you mentioned in your bio that you're a pianist as well. I mean, your life story is extraordinary. And so, can we know a little bit more about you?
Yeah, yes. I am from Brazil, of all places. I grew up there and I came here for graduate school. I'm an engineering major. And I was sort of a nerd, really. Yeah. Don't mention it. Do not mention that.
I'm
Um,
a nail nerd, so we can be nerds together.
I was a nerd, just like a total engineering kind of person. But I've always, so then that's how I sort of gotten here in the first place, because I came to graduate school here. But I've always, from the age of 6, I've been playing the piano since the age of 6. And, if you ask me, so your passion is to paint, this beautiful nail. My art is music.
Yeah.
So I love music. I've never really given up playing the piano, even though when I was working in Wall Street, I traveled 3 weeks out of the month, so I couldn't quite play or anything, right? I,
Yeah.
as an adolescent, I was a professional musician, but I played another instrument. I learned 2 instruments, really. So I've always been a musician in the back there, but I don't know, somehow um, I chose another profession, I've always had another profession, but this has always been sort of the undercurrent of like my happiness in a way,
Uh-huh.
being a musician. So I love music, and I play every single day of my life if I can. And I
Yeah.
sit here and the world doesn't exist around me. I cannot even sneeze when I'm playing. It's just one of those things. And
Yeah.
so I play classical music, really. And I love it. I think it's part of me. It just never goes away. And it accounts for completely beat up nails and screwed up.
We in the industry we call that job security.
Yeah, that's true. That's
Yeah.
so I just didn't go for that, but still, I do it. I play concerts for people sometimes, or I play with other people. Um, but it's those things that give you tremendous pleasure in life, and it's a passion.
Exactly that. And so, in your case, music is that deep underlying passion. And for a lot of us, the nail industry is that way. Some of us get the opportunity to have a full-time job out of it. Some of us, we don't get the right mentorship, or we don't get the right guidance, maybe not the proper education. And so therefore we do it for a little while and then they kind of get out of it. But underlying that passion's always there. And they still do nails and stuff every now and then. They just haven't found the right way to get back into the industry. And so the passion for it never dies. It's just the timing of it, and the time that you can dedicate to practicing, and the time you dedicate to the marketing side of it and getting yourself out there. And so with what you just shared, I mean, word for word, it's exactly the way we are in the nail industry as well. No matter what your passion lies, you just have to go for it. And you say that you play every day. We do the same thing. We have to practice every day. We have to watch a video for inspiration every day, something. And our groups from scratch to Tech Talk Worldwide are exactly that. That's us getting more in touch with other like-minded people so that we can share different stories. Because sometimes our circle or our family, I can tell my husband every single day what I do for nail art, and he is so supportive, but it's pretty much, oh, I'm so proud of you, babe. Or I think you did amazing. I really like that one. That's it. You know, it's very general. I know he's listening. I appreciate it, but it's not the same as when we can find like-minded people and we can go, oh my gosh, what color did you use? How did you do that? Is that magnetic? Is that, you know? And so the passion gets more driven when you're with like-minded people in groups like what you have and what we have. So I'm loving that we were able to connect this together.
Yes, I mean, this is fantastic because I think there is a communion, I think, of thought in people who have some kind of art loving inside them.
Yeah. And we can be nerds about it if we want.
I immediately, coming from, ports and pipelines, coming into scratch for me was something that I immediately picked up.
Mm-hmm.
And it just makes me happy to be able to be in this venture, in this adventure, I would say.
Yeah, yeah.
And
it's
then thinking ahead, what will be the things that we could add that will make your lives better or easier? Is it training? Is it more videos? So also, I would encourage everyone listening to this, now that they're listening, what would you like to see? What would make your life easier? What would help you more? And that we could consider eventually adding to what we do. Should we bring more training? Should we, I don't know. I actually, in a way, in terms of how we move forward, I have what we call a beginner's mind. Mm-hmm. I'm willing to sit here and gather more information from you guys and to tell me what will make your lives even more or easier or better.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
What you do. And that's how I leave it,
Yeah. Well, you're definitely on the right track because from going, so once again, you have scratch.com, which I did put the thing on there. And Gail actually ought to put on there, education and sanitation are definitely highlights of what they want. So Gail, you need to get on their website, and their website makes it very easy. It says submit your ideas here. Just click on it. It's very easy setup and it's mobile friendly as well. And so you have the website of scratch.com, you have the Scratch Weekly, Scratch Buzz, Scratch Nail Art World, all of this will encompassing. If you guys have listened at all to what we've talked about, this is more than just you submitting in your nails that you do every day. They want to know about you, and they want to help you as a nail tech continue on with your passion. And Gail says that she's going to submit onto the website, so that's wonderful.
Great.
Yeah. Well, Christina, you are a heartfelt delight. I can tell you that today. I can't thank you for your patience and your time with us today and sharing just the passionate side of not only you, but with Scratch. And so thank you so much. And I don't want to get their names wrong, but Awilda and Ujala.
Rocky.
Yes, they are the other ones that I've talked to with Scratch over the last few months. And let me tell you, they're all approachable. So if for some reason you get a message back from somebody in India, that's intentional. That is the team. This is a worldwide India and USA based team, but it's for a worldwide website. So it's fun to be able to network with people from all over the world. So thank
Yes,
you so much
that's
for your time.
thank you for having me here. And I really love this conversation and having this opportunity to share this with you today. Thank you so
Thank
much for this. Really.
Ah, and thank you everybody who joined in with us today. I have two Tech Talks going on next week, but one of the Tech Talks that is going to be unique is Becky, who is also admin on our group. When we hit 40 episodes of Tech Talk Live, we decided that or Becky decided that I needed to be a special guest. And I'd never really thought about that because I get to talk to you guys constantly a few times each week. And she's like, no, they need to know a little bit more about you. And so tomorrow at 9 o'clock Mountain Daylight Time, I am the special guest. We have not created any event for it yet, and we will. And the reason why is we're at 50 episodes. So if you were to look at that at like TV episodes, that'd be 5 seasons. That's a lot that we've put into this. And so many special guests have come on, like Christina, and opened up their hearts and their time with us. And we're getting the education directly from the companies. And that is the truest, best education that we can find. And so somewhere today, I will definitely get the event up for that. But next week, I'm going live with Ashley Levitch, and she's from Nail Style magazine. And then I also have Courtney Crosby, who is one of our first Tech Talks. She's going to come on and share with us again how her career has changed just in this last year. And if you guys have watched her at all through social media, we've been able to watch it evolve every step of the way because she's been very public on sharing her website and her knowledge with us. So we have many, many special Tech Talks coming up. And so thank you for joining us each time. If you're watching this on replay, answer the questions or ask questions during the Tech Talk because it actually shows us where you're at. We know what conversation you're on, and then we can respond to that. So if you have any additional questions for Christina or Scratch or myself, just go ahead and tag our name in it and we can get that answered for you. So again, Christina, I thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
And everybody watching today. Thank you.
Everyone. Bye.
Bye.